one new feature we have in online is the My Team feature, which is another feature that I know I mentioned earlier. It hasn't gotten a lot of press yet. This is a really cool feature where you are basically building up your very own team of players, whether they be current day players, and we also use our full lineup of Legends players in this mode. You're basically purchasing players for this from the market or getting players from packs, and you're building a team that you're competing against other players online with. And we kind of have a tiered setup. It's called Road to the Playoffs, where you basically play these 12-game seasons, and you have to win a certain number of games within each season to move up to the next seed. So, for example, you start out, quote, out of the playoffs, and the first season is 12 games, and if you win 3 of those 12 games, you move up to the 8th seed. And every time you move up, you're going to get rewards, and obviously your team's going to get better as you play through it. And it's really just, more than anything, like, I enjoy playing online, but I always felt a little hollow after playing online. Like, I would spend half an hour to have a great game, and then I would have nothing to show for it other than, a win or a loss on my record. And this mode allows me to play head-to-head online games and feel like I'm making progress in something. My team's getting better, I'm moving up, I'm building up my record towards moving to the next seed. So it's really a chance for people to, get satisfaction out of playing games. And also it kind of brings you back to that time, when I was a kid and I would just go to the store and I would buy packs of baseball cards or, basketball cards, and you're basically buying these crates that have players in them. And it's that cool thing where you never know what you're going to get. Are you going to get the Kobe in this one, or are you going to get the retro classic Shaq? It's just a lot of fun building your team, and I think it's a strong feature for the game this year.
Will NBA 2K13 allow the classic teams to compete online against other teams?
Yes, fully.
Are the U.S. Dream Teams available for head-to-head online play?
Yes.
Will you be able to use your own My Player in the team-up mode this year?
Not in team-up mode, but we did add a new mode called My Player Pickup Games. They're My Player Blacktop games. It's very similar to the pickup games that we had in years past. Obviously, your My Player is a much bigger focus with the game this year. We added a whole new casual clothing system, just a continued effort as our cultural improvements within the game. We have thousands of items that you can purchase for your player, whether it be jewelry or clothes or shoes. You can use our 2K Shoe Creator, which is a brand new feature in the game this year, that allows you to create custom shoes using 45 different layers. Very, very robust. But this My Player Blacktop is a chance for you to go 3-on-3. You can take your My Players online, and your My Players are what you use in My Career mode. So when you build them up there, you take those online, and it's just another way to express yourself and play online games with your friends. So it's a lot of fun.
Has anything been done to tone down how easy it is to steal the ball in online play, either making it harder to steal or turning up the fouls called? Playing online in NBA 2K12, guys were able to hack your point guard with a center and fouls were rarely called. Attempting steals should be risk-reward, but when it came to 2K12, it was all reward for the defense.
Yeah, I agree with that statement that you just said, and I think that's something that was actually, we spent a lot of time trying to tune. Just the balance there. It's a tough thing to balance because some people like to spam that steal button, and when you're getting 100 fouls every game, then it just feels kind of bad. But I think we found a good balance there. And one thing I do want to mention also with regard to problems like this is that we spent some time this year making what we call post-ship tunables. And the thing about that is usually in the past when we had issues like this arise, we'd have to rely on a gameplay patch to be able to tune the game on the after it's shipped. And one thing we can do now is whenever we see feedback like this or any other thing that we want to change after we ship, we can tune it on the fly, and it basically comes down to the user like a roster update. So we can kind of tune and tweak the game as we get feedback on it, which is really cool for us this year.
Now moving into some more gameplay specific questions. Since there's a new passing system, does that mean that we will be able to finally run fast breaks? Will players now continue to run when they receive the ball rather than stop?
Yeah, that was a big focus for us this year. Passing in general got quite a bit of an overhaul, and Rob Jones worked on it a lot with one of our gameplay engineers, and I feel like it's in a lot better place now. You'll see a lot better passes and receptions in fast break situations, and you'll see more breaks.
I thought the passing in last year's game was the best of any sim to date. I see that bounce passes and lobs are now available. Are those situational, or can they be executed at will?
A little bit of both. There's a bounce pass mechanic now, so you can do that whenever you want. But as well, we there are times, we want to make the best pass for the user. So if you just hit the pass button, A on 360, cross on PS3, you're just going to get the best pass for the situation. So you'll see bounce passes in situations where it just makes sense also for the user.
Flopping has been added to the game this year. As someone who feels that flopping has become the scourge of the real-life NBA, why was it incorporated in the game, and what are the in-game benefits to such fakery? Are there significant disadvantages to attempting this overall theatrical and cowardly act? If so, what are they, and how has the team ensured that flopping won't be abused by gamers?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. I like how it's worded. First of all, I agree. I hate flopping. I'm a big Jeff Van Gundy fan. I love that when he calls it out every time it happens in real life. But it's something that does happen in the league, and something that we want our game to be as authentic as possible, and so it's one of those things we just thought we would add. It's definitely not an exploit. Like, you can't run around just flopping all over the place expecting to get charge calls. But it does add a nice wrinkle to the game that as a defender, if you time it just right, you can encourage the ref to call that charge call. But more often than not, you're just going to flop without a reward, and you're just going to fall down, you'll be out of the play, and the offense will punish you for it. So I think we did a good job balancing it this year.
Next question is, for the most part, signature skills are locked down to specific game situations. Was that a consideration from the start, or added in as a way to balance them out and give the game more of a simulation feel?
Oh, no, signature skills was definitely meant to be that way from the beginning. When we first met and talked about the feature and brainstormed about it, we basically were trying to figure out how can we make guys play more like their real life selves. How can we make each player, not just the stars, but the guys on the 8th, 9th, 10th guys off the bench, how can we make them matter? Because in real life they matter. They play a role in the team, and so we figured the only way to do that was really to move away, I guess, from some of the way we do things in the past, which is just looking at ratings and numbers and doing things that way. And we needed to have the signature skills actually affect the game in different ways, and so that's why you'll see things like I guess we call them rule breakings, where they'll in certain situations those signature skills will pop up and they'll be much more impactful for the user.
What are the dev team's personal favorite signature skills and why?
I can't speak for the entire team, but I know that Zach Timmerman, he worked a lot on 6 skills. His favorite one is Deadeye. I think the main reason for that is because when we play lunch ball, he likes to yell Deadeye every time he shoots. But he also likes Brick Wall, I think, because he says it's cool to have a 6 skill that actually brings you new animation content, and that's one that you'll see if you guys hit the hard screen, that he'll lay out the guy trying to run through it. I know Rob Jones and Jerson Sapita, they're big dimer guys. They like the dimer signature skill because it boosts your teammates, and I know Jerson's running with the Clippers this year, so he wants to use CP3 a lot. For me, it's probably shot creator. I'm a Bulls fan, and I love Derrick Rose, and I just like to be able to do moves off the bounce and get shots off like he does. So I think everyone's got a different one. What's yours, Eric?
My favorite? I like corner specialists. I like to sit in the corner and just shot threes all day. It's a lot of fun.
Are player-to-player motion dynamics seeing a change this year in terms of graphic interactions?
I think what that question is asking is the contact stuff, so I'll speak to that. We worked on this thing. We introduced it last year. I remember even on this call we talked about this dynamic shot generator, and the whole concept was being able to stitch animations together and blend different things together to make them more signature. But for 2K13, we really leveraged that tech to make it so that guys can react to different collisions and just the different context of a play. So when you go up strong with the basket with a guy, and you get hit by a big center, then you're going to see that guy bounce back and get hit and fall to the ground, maybe get hurt. So there's a lot more interaction in that regard, and also on the floor when you're dribbling, there's a whole new body-up system where guys will get ridden out of bounds, will get ridden, and you'll have to play off the defender. And so there's a lot more just body-to-body contact that, to me, looks a lot better, but also I think that the cool thing about it is it doesn't sacrifice feel. Because in the past we've had to kind of stick you in a multi-actor animation, and you'd kind of be really interested to sit there and just watch it. But with 2K13, you can branch out of all these things at any point, and so they feel a lot better and they look really good too.
What was the thought process for moving dribbling moves to the right stick? And since the right stick can still be used for the shot stick, what do most of the developers use the right stick for now, dribbling or shooting?
Well, that was a big almost controversial change at the beginning of the year. I've always been an isomotion hater for the last couple of years, and it's something dribbling on the right stick is something I personally wanted to see in 2K for a long time now. And talking to Jeff Thomas at the beginning of the year too, he was a big proponent of, I want to feel more connected with the ball handler. I want to feel like I'm doing the moves, that it's a one-to-one system, and so that's what we set out to do at the beginning of last year. And so we all agreed that dribbling, isomotion had kind of run its course in terms of what we could get out of the system. When you're doing everything on the same stick, movement and dribble moves, you just can't do certain things that real-life ball handlers can do, because you need to kind of decouple the two. So dribbling, it just made sense to put there, and then the big question came up. What do we do with the shot stick? Everyone loves the shot stick. How do we retain all that functionality? So that was one of my responsibilities this year, was to sit down with one of our engineers, and I think we did at least 4 or 5, 6, I don't know how many different prototypes of different control schemes, and we tossed them around all over the team. Erick's big thing was he wanted it to be accessible for everyone, but he'd still be able to do the cool stuff. And I think the control stick, where we netted out with it being a modifier where you can toggle between shots and dribbles, being the best solution for everybody, and we really like how it feels. It works out pretty well. As for what everyone here likes to do, I've seen a lot of mixed opinions of how it should work and how they tend to use it. And I think, for Rob and myself, we are both strictly stick, so we'll use the right stick dribbling and use the modifier to use the shot stick. I know a lot of guys will use just the dribble stick and use the shot button and the offset button to do their shots. Zach's a weird one. What does he do? He does dribble. He uses the right stick for dribble, and then he uses the shot button for all jumpers, but in the post he uses the shot stick for post shots.
That's how I use it.
Yeah, so Eric does that too. So it's, I think the big thing for us is we want people to be able to do whatever they want to do and kind of customize the controls to the liking. That's another thing too, is if you want it to work like last year, you can also, there's an option to toggle the shot stick and the dribble stick to be flipped, so the control stick can be shots by default and dribbles with the modifier. So you can kind of play it any way you want.
That's great. That pretty much answers our next question about is there a way to turn off the control stick and go back to the old shot stick? Will the changes made to the right analog stick controls, example dribbling moves being mapped, will the changes made to the right analog stick controls this year make the game more difficult to pick up for new players?
That's a definite no. That's something that we did a lot of kind of focus group testing on, and I think that for the casual person, I think typically they want to be able to kind of do whatever they, just wiggle the sticks and get something cool to happen, and that's what we saw. So actually moving the dribbling to the right stick actually allows them to do a lot of really cool stuff that they couldn't do in the past, because in the past with isomotion, you kind of had to be a bit of a stick jockey to get all the moves in the game to work. And I think with the right stick dribbling, it's just kind of elevated the game for a lot of people. And so all the feedback that we've heard so far from the community day guys and all the people that have tested the game, and also in-house, everyone just thinks that it's the right way to go, and it's actually a lot easier to play than years past.
All right, thanks, Mike. Switching gears to being able to play NBA 2K everywhere. This year, my player interfaces with an iOS app. Do you plan on creating an Android version? What kinds of activities can 2K13 owners plan on doing on their mobiles to boost their player?
Sure. So interfacing with your My Player this year comes in a couple flavors. We do have the mobile app. We also have the Facebook app. Both of those seamlessly are integrated within the actual console game, which is pretty cool. The mobile app is going to be available on iOS, Android, Kindle, pretty much any device out there. You'll be able to get a version of it. And we haven't detailed a lot about what NBA 2K Everywhere is yet. That big unveil is still coming. So I don't want to spoil the fun, but I can give you a little bit and say that the mobile app is going to have a lot of mini type games in there where you can go in there. One is a contract signing game, or an autograph signing game, sorry, where you have like a specific amount of time to sign enough autographs for the fans in line. And if you're able to complete it, you get an attribute boost for the next game you play on the console version in My Career mode. So there's just lots of fun little games to keep you very in touch with your My Player, no matter where you are in the world.
Moving on to a few questions about AI. What improvements have been made to the AI, both on the offensive and defensive end of the court?
That was another one of those questions that could probably take an hour, so I'll answer some real quick. I guess on offense, some of the biggest things are having the AI attack mismatches better, so they're smarter at recognizing those situations and capitalizing on them. And also, I guess, signature, making the AI more signature and making them play more like their real life counterparts was big too, and that kind of stemmed from the whole SIG skills feature. We really wanted the AI to take advantage of the SIG skills that they have and the way they like to play in real life. So you'll see things like LeBron being more aggressive, attacking the basket more than he did last year. Guys like Kevin Durant will just pull from anywhere, and you can see like his SIG skills come through. Stuff like that. Kobe, he's one of those guys who plays with finesse now, especially that doesn't have quite the athleticism that he used to have, and so he's got a huge arsenal of shots that he'll use, and so it just feels like you're playing a little more organic of an opponent when you play against the AI. As for your AI teammates, one of the big things that we focused on was getting them to do smart things off the ball. So cutting to the hoop when they're open, that was something that just didn't happen enough, I think, in last year's game, and so they're smarter now. And when the defense, if the defense cheats, tries to double ball handle or something, you'll see your teammates cutting to the hoop, and you get them for an easy layup. On the other side of the other end of the floor, defensively, there's a lot of stuff into the defensive AI. Probably the biggest things are just position defense for the on-ball defender, taking the right lanes, being smarter of where they're shading and how they're playing. Help defense got a big boost, as well as double teams. They're smarter about their trapping. The list kind of goes on, but another thing I want to mention too is the defense is a lot smarter at recognizing their matchup. So guys, if they're playing against like a Ray Allen, say, off ball, they'll do a lot better job trying to deny him the ball and also crowd him and not give him that much space versus, if they're guarding somebody who just can't shoot. So a lot went into AI, and there's just a few things that I can think of right now.
On-the-ball defending was frustrating last year when the person you were guarding tried to attack the rim. It seemed like eventually they flip you almost without fail. Will the defensive adjustments in this year's game fix that?
I think that's one of the main areas that got a big improvement, I think, is on-ball defense. And I think I alluded to it earlier. There's a whole new body-up kind of ride system that I got to work on this year. That I think it's let's see, last year, 2 years ago. What did we do? 2 years ago, there was a lot of bumping and stunning of the ball handler, so it just kind of knocked them back, and it felt really artificial. And I think some of the videos that we released already for 13, and what people will see in a couple weeks in the demo is that the game just feels a lot more like a dance between the on-ball defender and the dribbler. So the interactions between the two guys are a lot they make more sense, and they look more like real-life basketball, and it really helped us get the on-ball defender to be able to guard the on-ball or guard the ball a lot better. So it feels better to me, and I think it's something that you guys are going to like.
In past versions, it seemed that the human players' shot percentages were punished way more in terms of having a defender's hand in their face, in comparison to the AI-controlled opponent having the same thing happen. They still sink so many contested shots. Do the devs notice this, and if so, has it been touched upon?
I think what people were seeing there is that the AI defensively is a lot quicker to react to, say, a jump shot than the average user. And that's something that I noticed watching people play. So one of the things we did is we made separate tunables for how much the defense impacts the shooter when it's an AI defender versus a user defender, to make it a little more fair, to kind of compensate for that. And another one of those things that we can also tune post-ship, but I think it feels a lot better now. It feels more fair. I think that the AI, and also just the fact that the AI was closing out and contesting everything so quickly was another thing that was addressed to make it feel just more fair when you're playing against the AI.
Thank you, Mike. Moving into talking a little bit about the AllStar DLC. Eric, can you tell us a little bit more about AllStar and what brought on the decision to include the AllStar Weekend events as DLC?
Sure. Obviously, AllStar Weekend is something that we touched heavily upon at E3. AllStar Weekend is, it's our all-new Sprite Slam Dunk contest. It doesn't at all represent any of the dunk contests we've done in years past. It's the Foot Locker 3-point shootout. It has the All-Star Game, the Rising Stars Challenge, and the way this DLC works is that once you have it activated within your console, it's actually seamlessly integrated across all the modes within your game. So anytime you're playing Season Mode or Association Mode or Creating a Legend Mode or My Career Mode, anytime you get to that All-Star break and you have this content activated, you get to participate in those events in the scope of Creating a Legend, My Career, only if your player qualifies for the event. As for the question as I think it was what brought on the decision to include it as DLC, this is something we wanted to do more or less as a thank you to our hardcore fans who go out there and pre-order the game every year, who purchase the game on day one every year. So those guys are going to get some really exclusive content that people who purchase the game later on in the year won't have access to. So that's something that, like I said, it's just a thank you to those guys who support us on day one every year. We truly appreciate it, and thank you very much.
And we got some questions about Kinect. First one in this category, what exactly can be executed with Kinect voice commands? Can I call for picks on and off the ball?
Oh, Kinect is actually really cool. You can do a lot of stuff. On offense, you can call plays, you can call for timeouts, you can call quick plays, you can tell your guys to cut to the basket. You can call for a screen, on-ball screens, not off-ball right now. That's something that we'll probably get to later in the future. Defensively, you can call for double teams. You can tell your teammates to pick up the ball if you're off ball and you want someone to pick up the ball handler. You can call defensive sets or call intentional fouls. My player's got some things that are different to my player where you can call for a pass or you can call for an isolation. You can tell your guys to shoot the ball. Some general stuff. You can do subs, which is really, really nice because you don't have to fiddle with the menus. You can say, bring in so-and-so or take out so-and-so. And you can switch the camera. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can also do a Gatorade dunk thing.
That's a fun one.
That's a fun one. But yeah, a lot of stuff you can do on Kinect, and it's a pretty cool feature.
Next question is, how much time does it take for the game to call for someone to post up and your teammate to react?
Oh, it's pretty much instantaneous. So it's just like using the buttons, but you can do it with your voice. So it's nice and quick.
I'm really curious about the use of Kinect and the challenges you faced. What concerns me, though, is how well it works. Did you run into any technical issues that had to be ironed out, and at any time did you consider leaving Kinect out of the game?
I think that's a really good question, and it's one that we very, very much have asked ourselves. A couple days ago, actually, I had an interview with a reporter who asked a very astute question, and he asked that, Kinect has been out for a couple of years now. Why are you only putting this in now? And for us internally, we are big supporters of Kinect, but we did not want to implement something that didn't have a true benefit for our users. I play too many games that have Kinect seemingly thrown in, and it seems like it's more or less to get the little purple stripe on the box than it is to truly enhance my experience as far as playing the game. And, for us, we did a lot of experimentation with, the motion analysis stuff and kind of getting that to play in the game. And our game is so fast-paced, so twitch, that it just wasn't. It was something you could do for fun, but it didn't enhance your playing experience. It wasn't beneficial to our user base. And that's really where we settled into the voice part of Kinect, which is a great fit for our game. People who call plays know what it's like. Sometimes you have to press right on the D-pad and you have to take your eyes off the ball. This year with Kinect, our implementation was all about making the game more playable for the user. So calling plays is just as simple as calling out the play and never having to fumble through menus while you're dribbling. It's just all user interface and making the game much more playable, and that's something that ultimately we were very satisfied with, and we did, basically at the end of the day, find a way to make the game better by using Kinect, and that's why we ended up going with it.
Moving into a question about shoes. Eric, I know you touched on this a little bit earlier, but this question is, there's a lot of buzz on the internet over the new feature in this year's game that allows you to design a custom shoe, and supposedly even order a real version through Nike. Could you tell me a bit about this feature and any other potential new features that allow the player to customize?
This is, like I referenced earlier, a big part of our culture push this year and tying the whole, basically real life in with the sport of basketball. Shoes come in two flavors this year. Nike ID is back in the fold. And like last year, we're going to have day-and-day releases for all of the shoes that drop, within that interface. So you're going to get the LeBron 10 when it drops, and the Kobe 8, and the CP3 when that comes out. We'll get the new Dwayne Wade, the Jordan around All-Star time. All these shoes, if they're going to be in ID, they're going to appear in our game the day releases in the real world. And within those shoes, once you customize the shoe, you get an email from us anytime you customize a Nike ID shoe. And when that email contains a direct link right to Nike ID where you can click that link and your shoe that you created within our game is going to be already populated on the Nike ID website for one-click purchasing. And it's really cool is you can just create something in our game, go to the website, because we're true one-to-one for what their site offers. We're completely authentic in that regard as far as technologies, colors, placements of logos. It's all 100% accurate. It's just a fun thing for people. The thing that I think people are really going to buzz over is the new 2K shoe creator. Rob Jones, as many of you know, is a bit of a shoe head, and this is kind of a passion project for him. He spent the whole year with a number of members of the team, creating something truly unique. In years past, our shoe creation has been limited to, here's a shoe, and here's 3 parts of the shoe that you can color. Go change the colors. But this year, like I said earlier, we have 45 different components of the shoe, up to 45. You can make one even with 3 or 4 parts if you want. It really goes down to the level of detail of, I'm going to put a swoosh on the toe, I'm going to put one on, the insole, and put one on the bottom. I want it to be really big on the bottom. You're really it's really a sandbox as far as what you can do with this. So I'm really excited to see what the truly creative people out there can create with this. And of course, you can take your custom creations online in the My Player Blacktop feature that I spoke about. So you will get the chance to show off your creations to the world. So very excited to see what happens here.
We got a couple of Wii U questions. What sorts of features and functionality are you planning on including in the Wii U version of the game? Gameplay design via the gamepad?
So the Wii U version, I know there hasn't been a lot of Wii U type information out there. It's very much an unknown, even though it releases in, I think they said November last week. So the Wii U version of our game is a complete, full version of NBA 2K13. It's not, a gimped off version with this feature missing and whatnot. It's very much our full game. And as far as what we've done with the gamepad, there's obviously a lot of unique opportunities there. We're going to be unveiling the full details of that very soon, but rest assured we have made very good use of what we're going to be doing with that gamepad, so stay tuned for that.
Great. And moving into our final questions, how were the stats of the celebrity team players determined? Can you confirm there will be no Bieber dunks?
Bieber dunks. Well, for the celebs, typically when we meet them, we ask them, what NBA player do you want to be kind of modeled after? So and they always give us funny answers, but it's usually a little bit of an augmentation of their actual real life skills. So cool, that's how they want to be in the game. But Bieber, I actually had the chance to play with Bieber, and he's a funny little guy. But his thing was he wanted to be a combination of Iverson and I think it was Nate Robinson. So it's possible that he can dunk in the game. I'm not sure. I can't verify.
Commentary was strong last year. Any big improvements to it this year?
Yeah, I think anyone who has played our game for the last 5 years knows that our commentary is incredibly strong. Our audio department, headed by Joel Simmons, is unbelievably organized and incredibly passionate about what they do. Commentary has made a ton of improvements this year, a lot of it on the NBA Today side. We are going to see new segments, more detailed commentary pertaining to real-world stats, real-world events, just continuing to build upon our incredibly strong base. I know I referenced the time they spent in my career this year, making it more about me, making the commentary in that mode more relevant to what I'm doing. So definitely a lot of improvements in there. I mean, it's hard to detail a lot of commentary improvements when that's all we've been doing for 5 years. So people know what to expect from us, and it's going to continue to get better starting this year. And
our last question is, will the PlayStation 3 version feature Move support?
We had Move support within NBA 2K12. It was a feature that we didn't feel super strong about. We felt good when we were doing it. At the end of the day, when you got a chance to sit on your couch and play it and look back, we felt it needed a little more time under the hood, maybe to get to where we wanted to be. We removed it this year to kind of spend that time, working on other aspects of the game while continuing to formulate ideas to improve this. So no Move support this year, but we do have Kinect support if you're on 360. So that's the win this year.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining the call. Eric or Mike, do you guys have any closing comments?
Sure, I'll go first. Again, I just wanted to say thanks everyone, all our fans out there, for all the feedback and ideas that you guys provide to us. We're very much a fan-driven company. We don't kind of sit it all in a round table after the game ships and decide what direction the game is going to take. I mean, obviously, if that has to happen. So basically, all of our features come from feedback from our fans that we get from email, that we get from the forums and websites. I mean, we know the customers buy our games, so it would be foolish of us not to listen to that feedback and go in those directions. And as far as NBA 2K13, very proud of the game. A huge congratulations to our entire development team here. It is, without a doubt, the best-looking, best-playing basketball game ever made.
Yeah, Eric kind of said it all. Thank you to the fans, and I think that, it's something that we say every year that, we're really proud of the game, and it's the best it's ever been. But this year, it feels like it kind of turned a corner in a lot of ways from the gameplay standpoint, at least. I feel like we finally solved a lot of problems that have been lingering a lot in the NBA 2K series, and it feels like just a much better feeling and looking game. It's kind of where we kind of put it all together, and so we're really looking forward to reading the feedback and seeing how you guys like it. So thanks a lot.